Netflix original movies are usually accessible to general audiences, but one 5-year-old original film still has me guessing all these years later. One thing that makes Netflix such a driving force in the streaming game is their original content, and some of their movies have even surpassed films that get theatrical releases. Some Netflix original movies are bona fide classics, and they can reach a larger audience thanks to the streaming platform's universal appeal. Touching every genre under the sun, Netflix originals range from stunning dramas to terrifying horrors and everything in between. However, some of their exclusive movies eschew traditional genres in general. One such movie was released 5 years ago, and it didn't receive the same fanfare as most Netflix originals. Though the film went by unnoticed, it still represents the positive impact that streaming has had on the future of movies. It might not have been made if it wasn't for streaming, and Netflix gave the convoluted art film a home. The surrealist fever dream had a star-studded cast, but it was never going to be the type of movie that every audience member loved. Thankfully, the challenging movie was made because it has given me something to think about for the past half-decade. I'm not often confused by a film, but the underrated Netflix original is a rare exception. I'm Thinking of Ending Things is not an easy movie to get. The unnamed woman in a room in I'm Thinking of Ending Things. Charlie Kaufman is one of those rare filmmakers who is able to use surrealism to explore deeper themes without getting too bogged down. Movies like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind or Being John Malkovich are strange adventures, but there is a clear emotional core that keeps things grounded. However, I'm Thinking of Ending Things is a different beast entirely. It's not an easy movie to understand because the narrative is unclear. Other Kaufman films have straightforward narratives that are accentuated by surrealist moments, but the surrealism never takes away from a conventional plot. I'm Thinking of Ending Things has no real plot to speak of, and exists like a series of blurry memories that play out over 2 hours. As someone who has seen all of Kaufman's films, I can confidently say that I'm Thinking of Ending Things is the only one that has vexed me. I can't claim to understand it, which makes the movie a puzzle that can't be solved. I'm sure that was the point, and that confusing narrative will have audience members guessing for generations. 5 years later, I'm still not sure if I'm Thinking of Ending Things is brilliant or awful. The unnamed girl are an ice-cream parlor in I'm Thinking of Ending Things. I'm a big fan of Charlie Kaufman's works, so I'm inclined to say there is a brilliance to I'm Thinking of Ending Things that isn't obvious on the surface. Nevertheless, it's still one of my least favorite movies in his catalog because it lacks the aforementioned emotional core that he's so good at. It's so weird and esoteric that it can feel isolating, and it eschews cinematic storytelling principles to the point that it sometimes leaves the audience lagging far behind. Filmmakers like David Lynch are adept at offering a tangled web that is fun to pick apart, but I'm Thinking of Ending Things almost takes the surrealism too far in some places. On the other hand, the acting of the main quartet is brilliant, and Jessie Buckley deserves special commendation for her role as the multi-named female lead character. The cast handles the surrealism with aplomb, and they are consistent despite the movie's unfiltered artness. It's also a beautiful film to look at, and Kaufman's style is totally unrestrained. Ultimately, I think that I'm Thinking of Ending Things is a good movie. It isn't great, but I appreciate the unabashed commitment to style. It would have been easy to offer the audience a cop-out by having some sort of clear ending or a scene of explanation. Instead, it goes full speed ahead with no regard for popularity or accessibility. What I'm Thinking of Ending Things is actually about, we think. Jake sings on stage in I'm Thinking of Ending Things. The simplest explanation for I'm Thinking of Ending Things is that all the events of the movie are dreamed up by the mysterious high school janitor character. I tend to interpret the film as his imagination, with Jake serving as his surrogate in the story. Some aspects of his dream life are idealized, but they also seem unfinished and half-remembered. The farmhouse and the parents could be real, but the janitor's memory jumps back and forth through time so that they never appear the same age. Additionally, his repressed memories are symbolized by the scratches on the basement door. Oddball details like the decaying pigs are a representation of his own fear of aging and eventually dying. Jessie Buckley's character seems so out of step with everything because she isn't real. Instead, she's constantly being imagined by the janitor, thus details about her life shift without explanation. She's struggling with being an idealized woman in the eyes of the janitor, while still having some measure of autonomy.